2023 has been a year of growth and, in some cases, growing pains when it comes to development in West Michigan.
Tonight, from the debate over battery plants to the projects that are transforming downtown landscapes, we'll take a look back at the year in development.
And we start with some big projects that caused some big controversies. First to Marshall, where Ford is partnering with a Chinese company to produce electric vehicle batteries. Originally a $3.5 billion project with a $630 million state contribution, the plant near I-94 and I-69 was expected to create 2,500 new jobs.
But is also generating criticism over its size, pollution concerns, and its ties to the Chinese battery maker. News 8's Byron Tollefson has the story.
So this is somebody's dream, and what it's becoming is our nightmare.
Tonight, most Marshall residents declared strong opposition against the proposed Marshall megasite. An electric vehicle battery or semiconductor manufacturer would take over this massive 1,900-acre space along I-94 and I-69.
This manufacturing plant does not fit the scale of our community. We're 7,000 people. We're creating a town next to it. And we're killing off a wonderful green space, agricultural space that surrounds us.
Member Underhill.
Yes.
Motion carries, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Still, the city council tonight took a step forward on the project, unanimously approving a land transfer to build utilities on the site. This idea has been in the work for decades, but those behind the project say interest from manufacturers has never been higher.
It's a once-in-a-generation opportunity that we really don't want to miss.
James Durian, the CEO of Choose Marshall, says it will bring 2,000 to 3,000 high-paying jobs to Marshall.
We've lost over the past 20 years over 2,000 jobs because of some major employers that have closed, and this gives us an opportunity to bring those jobs back.
Durian also argues the project will keep young people in Marshall for generations.
And they can get that career pathway here in Marshall rather than going off to other regions.
But many residents fear the city can't handle a surge in population and business.
I mean, are we going to have another 1,000 people in Marshall? Yeah, where are they going to live? We have a housing shortage now.
How do you provide for all the influx of children that are coming in? How are the school systems going to handle that? The bus transportation, the teachers themselves.
Meanwhile, those who want the Marshall megasite to become reality call it an opportunity the community can't afford to miss.
This is our chance to bring Marshall back to where it was. We're not growing it more than it was originally.
As I do believe it's going to help us ensure that future generations can enjoy what we enjoy so much about this community.
Slow electric vehicle sales led to Ford's announcement in November that they were scaling back the project. Another battery plant, this one 2 hours north of Marshall, also caused controversy.
It was a packed house at the Mecosta County Planning Commission meeting Thursday night as people spoke against Goshen's planned EV battery plant in Green Charter Township.
There's a lot of people that want to say something. Right now, it's the only way we can do it.
Originally on the agenda was a rezoning request by Goshen. According to the county's director of building and zoning, portions of land near the proposed battery plant site are already zoned industrial. The company wanted the commission to approve rezoning an additional 11 parcels.
The portions that Goshen was looking to rezone were an extension past where that property stopped and other property began.
But the request was delayed after the company said they were waiting to learn the results of a review by the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States and wanted more time to answer the community's questions about the project. Some say they aren't buying it.
These people are a thorn in their side.
As people protested inside and outside of the Mecosta County Services Building, concerns about the battery plant continued, including Goshen's ties to China and how it will impact a small town.
It's just crazy that they want to put it up here in the middle of nowhere and not in a metropolitan area with rail, shipping, all the stuff that makes it economical to produce.
Others say they're worried about the environmental effects.
We don't want a big cement factory. Piled cement over a beautiful swamp, a beautiful wetlands, full of ducks. It's a migratory place. There's so many things that's wrong with this.
But despite delaying their rezoning request on Thursday, Cole says that wouldn't impact Goshen's ability to start construction on the pieces of land currently zoned industrial.
According to the zoning ordinance, it isn't allowable by right for a manufacturing plant to go in there. The only stipulation is they would have to have a site plan review, and that would have to come back in front of the Planning Commission.
The debate made it to the ballot box in November when several Green Township board members were recalled for their support of the plan. Demetria Sanders has more from Big Rapids.
I do solemnly swear.
Wednesday, at the Mecosta County Building, new Green Charter Township Supervisor Jason Cruz and Clerk Corey Rebo were both sworn in.
Yeah.
They represent 2 of 5 new board members who are taking their post after the former board was recalled Tuesday night. That vote driven by opponents of a $2.3 billion electric vehicle battery plant near Robin Hood Airport planned by the company Goshen.
So we'll be much more transparent and look for our constituents' inputs before we move forward, especially on large projects that can totally change the environment in the area of our community.
Much of the pushback focused on Goshen's ties to the Chinese Communist Party, although the company says the CCP has no influence on North American operations. In reaction to the recall vote, Republican Congressman John Molinar writing, now the Michigan Economic Development Corporation and Goshen should announce they are heeding the election results, listening to the will of the people, and ending this deal. Cruz wouldn't say if the new board plans to try to stop Goshen from building the plant, but they will review the project.
The board is going to look at all development agreements and all kinds of contractual documents that have been done with the right place, the MEDC, and then we will make our decisions from there to make sure that that any of these contracts are a fit for our community.
And if the board feels contracts aren't a fit,
then we'll look at options.
Cruz adding that a legal battle isn't one of the options that new leadership wants. Now, Goshen recently sent a letter to the MEDC saying they consider the plant a done deal and they're moving forward with many facets of the project. In response to the recall, a company representative wrote, quote, Goshen is a multinational company that does not engage in political posturing. We continue to steadfastly work to meet our commitment of creating 2,350 jobs in the state of Michigan while communicating factually and transparently with all regulatory organizations.
As U.S. automakers began to catch up with supply chain shortages that plagued the industry through COVID and beyond, the Big Three were hit with another challenge, a strike that would last 46 days and cost GM, Ford, and Stellantis billions of dollars. As the strike entered Week 6, concerns continued to mount over the walkout's potential impact on West Michigan. Byron Tollefson talked to the experts about that impact.
It has been more than a month now since United Auto Workers began their historic strike against Detroit's Big Three automakers, and it's expanding, with more than 34,000 union members joining the cause, campaigning for better wages and benefits.
Our cause is just, the money is there, and our strategy is working. Time is on our side.
Union President Shawn Fain says proposed wage increases began at 9%, and now they're at 23%. But Fain says workers deserve more.
These are already record contracts, but they come at the end of decades of record decline. So it's not enough to be the best ever when auto workers have gone backwards over the last 2 decades. That's a very low bar.
We are a foundation for the auto industry, but boy, when we have these disruptions, we really do feel it. And that's the big challenge.
For the auto industry and even West Michigan, auto analyst Mike Wall fears the longer the strike goes, the harder the impact.
When it comes to especially West Michigan, folks may not realize it's your neighbors. It's, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who isn't touched by automotive, even though we don't build a single vehicle in West Michigan.
If the strike lasts through the end of the year, Wall worries that some West Michigan suppliers, already dealing with inflation and high labor costs, could shut down. Not overnight, but eventually.
We build a lot of brackets. We build a lot of exhaust clamps. We build a lot of dimming mirrors. Go down the list, door handles, grills for the vehicles. Again, and there's that knock-on effect. It's not just those supplier plants either. It's the mom and pop cafes, diners, restaurants, shopping.
He says even suppliers that survive could have big layoffs.
Because the last thing you want to do is lay off people. And especially in West Michigan, you think about the suppliers here, their family.
The other problem, car inventory. The good news is that Wall says there are more vehicles on the market than a year ago, and prices have gotten better. Plus, Japanese and Korean automakers are ramping up vehicle production during the strike. But Wall fears a prolonged strike will result in fewer and fewer cars being made, which could raise new and used vehicle prices once again.
Yeah, inventory's gone up, but will that be able to sustain if we have these kind of ongoing shortages of vehicles due to the strike?
With growth also comes closures. Coming up, a hospital had to close its doors after serving the community for nearly 60 years. The impact it had on the area.
And later, some major changes are in the works for the Grand Rapids skyline. A look at how the waterfront could be changing over the next few years. Also impacting West Michigan, healthcare cuts and consolidations.
The Montcalm County community of Lakeview was one example of that downsizing, as Corewell Health announced it would close Kelsey Community Hospital this fall.
I don't know if they really thought about what this is going to do to the people.
Brandy King says her grandmother has been receiving long-term care at Kelsey Hospital since last year, a place where she's become comfortable.
In March, she was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and I was so glad to know that she was somewhere where she already felt at home and that she deserved to be able to have that in her last days.
After Corewell Health announced that they will close the hospital for good in October, King concerned about what it may mean for her grandmother.
I just think that's such an awful thing that somebody should have to make those kinds of adjustments when they're in that kind of a condition, to be told, well, you have to find another place to go now.
Corewell Health says the 16-bed facility, which was built in the 60s, has become outdated, especially on the interior.
The infrastructure, the technology needs, all of those things that were, those didn't exist in the 60s. And so now, any kind of renovation that needs to be done is just really, really costly.
Leslie adding that the volume of patients coming into the hospital has also declined over the years. According to the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, in 2017, the hospital had just more than 10,100 ER visits. In 2022, that number fell to just over 7,700 visits.
People in this community and the surrounding communities really have been seeking their care elsewhere.
In June, Corewell Health opened its Lakeview Care Center about a mile away from Kelsey Hospital, which offers a walk-in clinic. Leslie says about half of the hospital's ER visits last year could have been served in a clinic environment.
Which is exactly what we built at the Lakeview Care Center. It's open 7 days a week, and so, people can get that same level of care just down the street.
Leslie says patients in critical condition in need of emergency care have been transferred to other nearby hospitals for nearly a decade, and she believes the community is equipped to fill the gap caused by Kelsey Hospital's closure.
Corewell Health Greenville is 21 miles to the south of here. Corewell Health Big Rapids is 27 miles to the north of here. And Sheridan Community Hospital is also 24 miles to the east. So there is no lack of hospital care services in this community.
Professional sports continue to make Grand Rapids their newest home. Coming up, we take a look at the progress a soccer stadium is making. There was also some very positive news on the changing face of West Michigan's downtowns and waterfronts.
In Grand Rapids, we got a glimpse of what the 12,000-seat amphitheater along the Grand River downtown may look like.
Preliminary renderings were released this summer. We also learned Acrisure, the Grand Rapids-based insurance broker and financial technology company, is paying $30 million for naming rights to the amphitheater.
The venue will anchor what city leaders hope will be a major development at 201 Market, the site along the Grand River, which for decades has been home to city services like streets and sanitation. Groundbreaking is set for next year.
But that's not all. We also learned plans are in the works for a soccer stadium on Grand Rapids' west side.
News 8's Byron Tollefson has the progress being made.
Those leading the charge to bring a soccer stadium to the heart of Grand Rapids say it could bring the city together.
I think professional soccer offers a huge opportunity to unify our community in many ways. And with it being the fastest growing sport in North America, but also a really important sport to the fastest growing demographic of West Michigan.
And getting a team is going well. Organizers are getting interest from both Major League Soccer and the United Soccer League.
We've had interest from both professional soccer leagues. And at this point, we don't have a team, and we can't have a team until we have plans for a stadium well underway. And certainly the construction of a facility comes first.
Where the stadium would be is still unknown. A year ago, Grand Action 2.0 was considering this site near the YMCA, north of Pearl Street and west of US 131. Today, the group's executive director, Kara Wood, says it's one of several possible sites, but the goal is to build one around downtown.
Because of the access to hotel rooms and restaurants and other amenities. And so the leagues that are interested in West Michigan certainly are interested in a downtown location.
These new renderings, drawn up by the firm Progressive AE Incorporated, show what the stadium could possibly look like. Wood cautions the drawing is very preliminary, just made to show possible basic features, and an actual stadium could end up looking entirely different. It's still early in the project, but the goal is to get a team before soccer's biggest worldwide event comes to the U.S.
I think our hope is to have professional soccer in West Michigan during the World Cup North America in 2026. And so we're still working toward that goal.
They are moving forward. On October 6th, the Grand Rapids Kent County Convention Arena Authority Board approved an agreement with Grand Action 2.0, confirming that both parties will work together to develop, fund, construct, and operate a soccer stadium. Those are the same two groups teaming up to build the Acrisure Amphitheater. Now they're looking at how much the stadium would cost and what it could look like.
It's not just soccer specific, but there will be other sports played, other activities that take place at an event, a space like this.
Coming up, after decades of negotiations, it appears an arena will be built in downtown Kalamazoo. We're finding out what made this step possible. Grand Rapids isn't the only West Michigan city with major projects in the works. In Muskegon, developers broke ground on Adelaide Point. The $250 million project will transform a former industrial site into a large marina, condos, office space, and event center on the south shore of Muskegon Lake.
And a discussion that began in the 1990s is coming to fruition in Kalamazoo with plans announced for a downtown arena. David Horak with more on the $300 million project.
That we have a high level of unmet demand for local events, and that we should build an even bigger project, including flat floor space for conventions, for instance. We do believe now is the time for action, but in order to get to that point, we did a lot of homework along the way and a lot of coalition building.
Peterson says it was generosity through that led to making the announcement a matter of when, not if.
It's a massive project. It's a game changer for downtown. We certainly have some cost models built out. We know that'll change over time, but ballpark, we think this is approximately a $300 million project. So it's an incredibly big deal, and can't emphasize enough, privately funded along the way.
The space south of Kalamazoo Avenue between Park and Northwest Edge was the first choice, but its general area of interest was always within city limits.
Projects of this size and scope, they are way more successful when there's close proximity to hotels, to restaurants, and retail. That means downtown. So when you have a location like that, you can increase economic impact and you can increase the visitor experience.
Peterson says there's no finalized timeline yet on when the project will be finished, but it is full steam ahead with land assembly all finished.
This is going to be a facility that is rocking and that brings a ton of energy to downtown.
Tomorrow, our look back at 2023 continues with your neighbors, their stories, your year.
Thanks for joining us. Good night.